Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing about the basic concepts of chemistry. So let us begin with the basics first. Let us start with the atomic models. So let us start with the chemistry first. Like many other languages, you can call chemistry as one of the languages of science. And when you come to the entire universe, there are a million or billions of chemicals that are present in the universe, which we call as compounds. Then these compounds are divided into elements, and furthermore the elements are divided into atoms. This is what the scientists prior to 1900 used to believe, which means the atom is the dead end, beyond which there is no division of any material or any compound. So when we start with the division, we start with the compounds, then these compounds are split into elements. The elements are further divided into their atoms or the core materials, and beyond which there is no division, which means there is no proton, no electron or no neutron concept has been introduced. And by the gold plate experiment of Rutherford, he introduced the nucleus for the first time. Earlier they used to only believe the plum pudding model, which has been proposed by jjthomson. When we see the model which is proposed by jjthomson, it's something like a watermelon. The atom will be represented by a big watermelon, and in which the seeds which we have in the watermelon are the electrons, which are distributed randomly in the entire atom. There was no concept of nucleus. So after the year 1908, two scientists have done their experiments, and they have concluded that there is some other material which is present in the atom, but which is not negatively charged. So they have included their research work with Rutherford in the year 1911, where they have performed these experiments in the Manchester with the help of New Zealand scientist Rutherford. It is the gold plate experiment that they have conducted, so that this had led to the discovery of some positively charged materials which are present in the atom. So from then on, they have concluded that the atom is not the indivisible part of a material or an element. There are some other particles that are present inside the atom, but they didn't discover till then that it is a positively charged or a negatively charged. By the discovery of J.J. Thomson, electrons were discovered and they are labeled as the negatively charged particles. But the atom has to be stable. For any material which has to be stable, it must have a negatively charged particles and the equal number of positively charged particles, such that the positive charges balance the negative charges and the vice versa. The negative charges balance the positive charges, such that the element is stable. Let us discuss about the experiment in detail now. The experimentation includes a screen, a thin film of gold which is around 2 to 3 atoms thick, and the alpha particles are then projected onto this film. They travel through the film and they get scattered, few with a minute scattering, and then the angle of scattering increases, few at right angles and very few greater than 90 degrees. And 1 in every 8,000 particles get reflected in its own axis in an around angle of 180 degrees. This is 1 in every 8,000 particles. This clearly indicates that there is some sort of positive charge that is present within the atom, which is deflecting the rays or the alpha particles which are positively charged exactly back in its own axis in an angle of 180 degrees. The conclusions drawn by the experiment are: atom is spherical in shape, and the nucleus is present, entire positive charge is being concentrated at the same place, and around the nucleus the electrons are distributed randomly. They are negatively charged particles, and most of the space in atom is empty, so that the alpha particles have easily penetrated through the gaps. And by this experiment of the Rutherford's gold plate experiment along with his two colleagues scientists, and they have concluded that the kinetic energy that is present by the electrons, that is half mv square, is equal to the potential energy, the kinetic energy has been converted into the potential energy, that is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 into Q2 by R. They have started calculating the value. They have got the radius as 27 femtometers. That is 27 femtometers. But the actual value or the actual radius of the nucleus of gold is 7.3 femtometers, which is only 7.3 femtometers. That means there is a loss of 20 femtometers. The value which we have got is 20 femtometers greater than the actual value. Then they have concluded from this, from the repeated experiment, they have concluded that the alpha particles, because of possessing a low energy, they can only penetrate up to the 27 femtometers into the nucleus, but not beyond that. In an atom, from the center of the nucleus, they can only penetrate up to 27 femtometers. That is, the difference between these two values is 27 femtometers. So that beyond this, the penetration by the alpha particles is not seen. That is, there is no possibility of penetration of the alpha particles beyond the 27 femtometers. So that is why we have got an error in this value.
Thank you, and this is all in this video. If you want us to do any video on any topic, do let us know in the comment section below.